What's going on, guys? This is Kai. Welcome back. We are here with Justine Dela Peña with his Floowandereeze deck profile that won first place on our Kai-Duelists weekly tournament today in Robinson's Galleria. So without further much ado, let's start. So Justine, introduce yourself first.
So, I'm Justine Dela Peña. You've seen me many times already in the channel. This time, I brought in another fun deck that you might like to see in your locals. So, that's it.
Okay, so let's proceed to your deck profile.
So, first off, the 3 Robina, 3 Egglen. These are, you can't change the quantity of these two. You need to run 3 of each because they just complement each other and they make the deck run. Next, the remaining are 1 token and 1 street. So I opt to use 1 of each because of deck space, and I also have deck options that I want to fit in the deck without going over 40 cards. And I feel it's enough already for the deck to only run 1 of each.
Okay.
So next, I run 2 Empen, 1 Avian, and 1 Ryza. So I run this lineup because at first I tried to run 2 Ryzas, but when I play the deck, I like it when I go first and I can really recycle my Ryza. And if you know how to play your Ryza, it's really good at just 1, and sometimes you just want to play 2 Empen because during some turns, since it's not a once per turn effect, you can add both the trap and the unexplored winds to your hand in a turn, just to draw more cards. So next, for my hand traps, should be Shifter. You need to run this. This is basically a Floowandereeze card. This is a card made for Floowandereeze. Next, the 2 Maxi. I run 2 Maxi. At first, I tried to run 3, but running 3 seems to be tricky for me. And in my last build, I tried running 3 Maxis and 3 Imperms, but it was not punishing people enough. And I think 2 Maxi is the the sweet spot when you try to run it in a Floowandereeze deck.
Okay.
So next, the 3 map, you need to run 3 just because you get the extra normals and it's extra consistency. It turns your birds into a full combo.
Okay.
Next, the Unexplored Winds. This is the grind game card, and if you have this set up already by, I don't know, let's say turn 1, it's pretty much, the match is pretty much gonna go into your favor just because you can decide on what to out during your opponent's turn. And if you tribute someone and send something from their field to the graveyard correctly, it can really hurt them. Plus, it's not a once per turn tribute. Send to graveyard. Also, extra note is this also helped me during some games to dig for my floodgates, like Harpy's Feather Storm and Dimensional Fissure.
Okay.
So next, the Advent, extra consistency, and there's nothing much else to say about this card because you want to dodge Imperms. Yeah, that's it. Next, more consistency, the Pods. So, during my games, these, especially my extravagance, conflicted with some of my plays, especially with the Unexplored Winds, but overall, it's a really good card if you don't have access to Prosperity. But if Prosperity was ever semi-limited, it's a better option just because this is better consistency and this is just better draw. And Duality is the best of both worlds.
Okay.
So next, Terraforming, an extra copy of the Floowandereeze map. Nothing else to say. The Triple Tactics card. This is a what do you call this? Not a very common card that Floowandereeze players in the OCG run. Just because of the belief that I mean, my mindset for this is that if one of your plays gets stuck, or let's say your eggland gets stuck, this is basically a feather storm. And during your, this can also be used when you are going second to dig for dark rulers and evenlies. And there's just so much more you can get from this, just like triple tactics to try and break boards and so on and so forth. So next, for my first, for my floodgate is Dimensional Fissure. This actually didn't do enough during my games, but I think it's a good card. You just have to balance it out with Feather Storm. You don't run 3 because running 3 feels bricky, and you just need the Feather Storm for the thrust targets. So that's why back then I played 3 of this, but I opted now to cut it to 2 in order to put a copy of Feather Storm. So next, Board Breaker. Dark Ruler. There are some boards like Voiceless that you want to out with ease, and Dark Ruler can help you with that. And if you have a God hand, you can basically transition into evenly. Next, the one up, you don't need to run more of this. You can recycle this. So that's all. And the thrust target. This won me one game, and what do you call this? This basically saved my life against the hero matchup I had because I opened 2 of these. So basically 2 turn skips, and it's an easy GG from then on for most of it. So for my side deck options, I have 2 anti-spell. This did good against my mirror match of Floowandereeze because they were forced to set their spells and traps. And yeah, it's a very overall good floodgate nowadays, especially against Tenpai and the likes, or Voiceless. Next, the 2 Dim Barriers. Dim Barrier, some decks just don't die enough to Harpy's Feather Storm, so you want to draw these silver bullets if you feel like the opponent can't be affected too much by the Feather Storm. Because I've experienced it back then that Feather Storm did not stop a Voiceless voice turn. So extra copies of Feather Storm. If you're going first, you just side this in for and side out your maxis just to get that turn skip. Next, Board Breaker is evenly. You want to side this in if you feel like your opponent doesn't have enough Omni Negates, and basically if you're just going second, you side this in. Next, the third copy of my Dimension Fissure. So if you feel like your opponent has a weakness of banishing, you just side this in, and it's one of the silver bullets basically. It's an easier access. Next, 2 Cosmic Cyclone. Because of Runic, I don't want to face Runic. Next, Duster against back row heavy decks. Yeah, that's all. You don't want to face a stun deck that can run. There can be only one. So you run this. Next, an extra copy of Dark Ruler. So if evenly is not enough, you need to run an extra copy of this. You need to side this in.
Okay.
So next, Ryza, you bump this in. Just basically the same reason for Dark Ruler. If you feel like your board breaking power is not enough, you side this in, and yeah, that's the explanation for that extra board breaking. Next, the 1 of BB Crow. If you feel like your opponent, if you know your opponent plays a graveyard heavy deck like Voiceless, you side this in because Robina can add it, and what do you call this? It's basically an emergency card if you don't draw Shifter going second, or if you don't draw your Dimension Fisher going first. And finally, the one of Patchy. So this is a nice deck to have in the extra deck, but I mean in the side deck, but I don't really want to run it in my main deck because this. I feel like it's not running 41 cards is really clunky with this, and you only want to run this if you're sure that you're going first.
Okay.
Now, for my really epic extra deck. So this is, I've turned this into a Vanquish Soul deck profile. So this is from my Vanquish Soul, 1, 2, 3. So this is from my Centurion. This is from my Vanquish Soul. That will be all for my extra deck.
Bunch of random ass cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so any shoutouts before we end this video, Justin?
So shout out sa Karasu sa pag tutulong sa akin sa pag-improve everyday, tapos sa Team Salad din, and shout out sa mga bird players diyan. Bird forever.
Shoutouts. Shoutout kay Ryle.
Shout out kay Ryan.
Okay, kay Janarel. Okay.